Hello, beautiful beings. I am the Witchitarian, and I'm going to do a collective read for you guys right now. I felt called to do it. I've not made a lot of videos in this last week. I've felt a lot of energy coming in, and I've learned I'm just like integrating, and then I've been really busy in my personal life and with work. So, hello, guys. Popping on here. So I'm going to do a collective read and we're going to see what's going on. And, oh, hi, Lynette. Yeah, I imagine there's some big energies coming through. I've definitely felt a shift for the more positive, even though I know things are starting to get more chaotic in reality and what's going on, but I feel like it just feels very like it's being put on for a show. It's very much like trying to draw us in and draw our attention away from really what we're meant to be doing right now, and that is our spiritual work. And so I know a lot of people are getting pulled into that narrative of whoa, what's going on? They're doing this with like the government saying this and this and this, and I don't want to like use any keywords and get wiped off this platform, but I feel like there's a lot of distraction going around. So if there's a lot of distraction going around in the world, and that's what I see, then you probably will also feel a lot of distraction going on in your home life. So being aware if something's taking you off course, because right now you're being called to do your work, to look at yourself, to raise your frequency, get a stronger foundation, pay attention to what you're putting in your body, into your mind, into your soul. Those are things that are really important right now. So if you're feeling really drawn and getting really distracted by your surroundings, it's time to cut some things out. It's time to cut some things out and start to prioritize yourself, okay? And then just for everyone too, I have a link. If you want to support me, it's there, it's optional. And if you do, I super appreciate it, okay? And I'm going to do a Celtic Cross spread, and it's looking pretty good. Okay. Bottom card of the deck is the Queen of Cups, okay? So for me, I always say this is the theme. This is where we're trying to gravitate towards. It's the Queen of Cups. So it's somebody that can stand in their power and stand in their emotions, own their own emotions, and not get triggered by other people's emotions, by other people standing in their power. And this is a really big deal, guys, because this is what we're being called to. Can you be okay with other people having different perspectives than you? Can you be okay with someone else holding a whole different reality? Can you allow someone to have their own beliefs and not allow those beliefs to trigger you, okay? This is where we're going as a society. We need to learn how to do this, to realize that people are creating their own realities based on their own experiences, their own interactions with life, and they're going to choose whatever they're going to choose based on their environment, their how they were raised. So you have to learn to be okay with that. And right now we're getting tested huge. And that was another reason why I have kind of pulled back making videos, because I wanted to get really firm with where I stand in this whole scheme of things, right? Where I'm from BC, Canada, and there's been a whole lot of things that have been implemented or are being at least shown to be coming to be implemented in the near future. So I really wanted to become solidified in where I stand, and I kind of knew where I stood, but I wasn't sure how much I want to say and how much I don't want to say. But at the same time too, I do know my mission, I do know my purpose, I do know I have a platform. I do know that people will look to me for guidance, and that's for a reason. And I think it's because I can hold a perspective. I'm able to see many perspectives. I can see why everyone does what they do. And I'm very much working towards that Queen of Cups of not getting triggered, being able to hold my own and really not allow somebody's decisions to influence how I feel. And so when this whole thing's going on, I really am taking the stand of I and I've always taken a stand, is I will love everyone no matter what they do or for whatever they do. It's not what somebody does doesn't really affect me. It's their own life. It's their own decision. And so I just am standing for that free choice, that I still can make my own decisions and you can still make your own decisions. And so it's really powerful that we come together in this time and we have this camaraderie that we're all pro-choice, right? We're all pro-choice. We're not anti this, we're not anti that. That is division. That is duality. And there's a reason why they are playing narratives like this, to spread and to be able to conquer everyone, because we will be so divided. And so my stand is and will always be the unity, to come together and to not have judgments and not have prejudice against anyone for whatever choice they choose. And, my partner, Katerina, and I have that stand as well with our business. It's very much a place where anyone is welcome. And I just want to put that out there, because I think right now, if we don't allow our voices to come up and us to stand in our power, then no one will do it, right? Somebody has to do it. And I feel that this is the time to start speaking out. And so I know I'm going to get into the reading, but this is just something that I want people to realize, that if we don't have a voice and we don't speak up and we don't allow ourselves to be heard right now, then there's a really good chance that no one will be heard and things will be taken away from us quite quickly. And so I just want to make sure that we're all on board and you know where I stand. Okay, so I'm going to get into the reading here. At the heart of the matter, and my voice might go. I did readings today at the market like all day, so I'm going to start sounding like an old lady pretty quick here. At the heart of the matter, we have the Three of Cups. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's the camaraderie, it's the tribe, it's linking arms. We will be full of more power, and we'll be able to stand in our strength if we stand together, if we link arms, if we're all in this, together, which we all are, right? We all are in this together, whether it doesn't matter what side you're on or what side you aren't on. It's like we are all in this reality dealing with it. So if we can come together and have more of a stance of unity and in the higher vibrations of compassion, love, and joy, then we will be, solidified and much more able to move past this and not break and crumble from this. There are going to be certain things that break and crumble, but it's not going to be our souls. It's not going to be us. We're going to grow stronger together, at least the people that are choosing those higher vibrations. Now, it's interesting, what's blocking us from fully coming together right now is the Two of Wands, okay? And I think a lot of it has to do with, there has to be a decision that's made. How are we going to come together? Are you going to choose to come together? Two of Wands are about choice. Do you feel passionately about something? Do you feel passionate about where we're going in society and what is happening, to take a stand and to raise your voice and to rock the boat, right? Rock the boat on a broken system. It's the system that's not broken. It's not the people. I mean, the people are broken in the sense that they need a lot of deep healing, but every person is worth healing. That the systems are not worth healing. The systems are broken. They're of an old energy. They need to go. There's no band-aiding this. There's no fixing it. This needs to crumble. And so I do foresee a lot of not chaos. It may look like chaos to some people if you are holding the fear frequency, but for me, it's like, this is excitement. I see things breaking down. I see us having these tower moments in front of us, and it's so exciting because I know what comes after the tower, okay? It's reprieve. It's a clarity, it's a freshness, it's being able to start over with nothing tying us down or holding us back, being able to create the new with no old paradigms, with no old limiting beliefs, okay? What's rooting us, what's wanting to come up for us right now is the Temperance card, okay? So how do we make this decision? How do we stand in our power? How do we find that strength to make that decision, to come together, to link arms? Well, it's going to be done with you going into the temperance energy within yourself. And I've talked about this before. The temperance is about loving yourself completely, okay? A lot of us love ourselves, 75%, and then we're like, oh, there's 25% of, guilt and shame and regret and things that I don't like about myself and things that I did that I wish I didn't do. You have to love 100% of yourself. You have to learn how to love all of your mistakes, learn to love all of the guilt and all of the shame that you felt through your life, and love it so much that your light, it expands that shadow aspect of you, and you integrate the shadow into you and you become all light. That's the thing, is the shadow never actually leaves you like that. It's there, but you've loved it and you've transformed it. And so now you're being called to do this. Everyone is being called to look at themselves and to see how much you're worth it, how much you are worth loving yourself. Because if you're going to fully love yourself, then you know you're worth it. Then you're going to start to see the worth in other people. You're going to stop seeing, you're going to stop judging other people. You're going to start seeing their worth. You're going to start seeing that, wow, they're worth the love. They're worth my compassion. They're worth my time. And once you realize that you're worth that, you will be able to reflect that to others. So this is your work. This is your homework right now, collective. Learning to integrate your shadow, learning to step away from your guilt and your shame and move into a place of love and compassion for yourself. Because not until you can do that for yourself can you do that for the others. And not until you can do that for others will others do that for you. So it's kind of like somebody's got to step up to the plate and start doing this. And it's the light workers. You as light workers have to start integrating your shadow to become the light. And once you do that, then you can hold the light for others. Speaking of light, I wonder if I can turn on mine. Here, the sun's kind of coming in too. It's very important. It's very important that I'm going to actually duck down. Hold on. Okay. What's in your past right now, collective? We've got the 10 of Cups. So there's a couple of emotions, yeah. So 10 of Cups in your past. Oh, okay, and I see this. What's the past? What's the thing that we're moving away from? We're moving away from the old energy. We're moving away from the old paradigm. And the 10 of Cups in a lower frequency, I see is very divided. I know how society, I know how they've kind of played us, or they've kind of moved us into a position where we're very segregated. So when you live with your family and you turn 18, 19, then you move out and you get a family and you move into a house. Maybe you move across the country. Maybe you move away from your family. And then, you live in a house, you live in this giant house. Regular size house, whatever. But then, everyone has their own rooms, and you make the baby sleep in the separate room, and you watch too much news, so you're fearful of everything. You don't really talk to your neighbors. You don't really do anything because, you work so hard. So you go to work and you just come home and you just want to veg out and you want to watch TV. So I'm going to tell you that is so broken. It is so very broken. It is so very old. It is so contrived, and it is not for our highest and greatest good to be separated like this. And this is what I see, is that society has separated us, and this is just a continuation of separation and division. And when you can separate and divide, then they can conquer and they can come in. So what I see is this old paradigm leaving. The way we are going to start integrating as family units and community is going to be different. There is a progression here. There is an evolution, and it's interesting because I'll show you the future card after we get the download that's coming in. But there is a progression here. I see us moving, and I already see, so I'll just tell you what the future card is, because this is just going to go off on a little tangent here. Our future card is the Page of Cups. So we're transitioning from the 10 of Cups, which is the old paradigm, that older energy, and we're having the Page of Cups, which is a very young energy. It's very new. It's starting to come into the collective, we're all starting to get these feelings of, ooh, man, it'd be nice to have some support. Ooh, it takes a village to raise a child. Ooh, man, if I just had a tribe around me, if I just had somebody to help me cook dinners every night, man, like there's these downloads coming into the collective of like that communal living, that community. How do we get back to that? It's in our collective internet, right? We're all starting to get this download. We're all starting to feel it. We're all starting to have that like, oh man, it would just be so nice. We're all feeling it. It's coming in, and it's coming in because it's starting to be downloaded into us. So it's not like you can really escape this. There is, as long as you're in the higher frequencies, right? Like as long as you're not swirling in fear, you're allowing these downloads to come in. So this is what's wanting to come in, but it's the idea. Some of us are putting it into action. Some of us are starting to get our ideas and starting to solidify them more with others. But a lot of the collective is just starting to get this hint of, oof, I think we need to switch things up. I think we can't do it this way anymore. And especially if we want to come out of a narrative and come out of the control of, being oppressed underneath someone's thumb, then we're going to have to shift to these narratives or to this way of thinking. So we're all starting to feel that. We're all starting to feel like it needs to happen. There needs to be the shift, this dynamic of the old paradigm of segregating and, not knowing your neighbors and not having any friends, not having any family, not having any support. It doesn't work. It isolates us. It makes us depressed. It gives us anxiety. It forces us to go into the doctor's office and get prescriptions, and it forces us into a whole nother paradigm, which is a pharmaceutical company, and we just pump money into that system, and we just pay out the yin-yang with our dollars and with our health, and it's a system that needs to break, and we know that. It is crumbling. We can feel it. And so right now we're getting this idea of the communal living because this is our next step. This is our next step of society. And actually the download that's wanting to come in is the Four of Wands, okay? The Four of Wands, it's the same download. The Four of Wands is about foundations. It's about your home. It's where you live. Are you happy where you live? Do you truly wake up and are you stoked? Are you stoked? Do you have a tribe? Do you have that support around you? Most people don't. I lived many years being very segregated. I lived in Vancouver for 12 years. And let me tell you, like living in a really high density population and feeling so alone is so ironic, but that's what it was. It was like nobody opened the door for you. No one made eye contact with you. No one wanted to talk to you. It was like this underlaying of like I can only focus on myself. I only have enough energy to focus on me. So don't don't even look at me, right? And that's what I felt. And it was a very hard energy to be in for 12 years. And that's why a huge reason why we decided to come back to Salmon Arm, because we realized we need to get to a place where people look at you, people see you, people interact with you, and people want to be a part of your life, and they want to support you, and they want you to lean on them when you need to lean on someone, and they in turn will lean on you when they need to lean on you. Right? And that's where we're coming to. And so a lot of you, especially if you're in cities right now, are going to feel that calling to leave the city. You're going to have that calling to want to go to the country. And I'm going to say, honor that. If you're getting that intuition, if you're getting that guidance, it's only going to not feel good in your body if you continue to ignore that feeling. If you don't act on it, if you decide, maybe I'll sit in the city for another 5 years and see how it works out or whatever. It's kind of like, no, your intuition's telling you to go. And a lot of the people are going to start flooding out of the cities because the cities aren't really set up for this new paradigm or this new shift that we're moving into, which is more in the communal side of things. Yes, cities can be communal, but they're structured in such a way that's really not supporting that. And so it's almost like the cities need to crumble. The cities need to crumble and be restructured in a way that's going to support, just a new way of living. And so I would say if you're a light worker and you're getting that intuition to move out of the city, follow your intuition, start to listen to your intuition. There's a reason that it's there. It's not just so you can ignore it, because when you ignore it, then it starts to manifest in the body as issues and problems. And then you have a whole other whack of things that you need to deal with. So I say honor your intuition and do what it's telling you, okay? Who are we right now as a collective? And it's kind of an intense energy. It's the Three of Swords. Okay? And I feel this. I can feel this individually. I can look at society. I can see this in countries. I can feel this on all levels. It's the Three of Swords, which is very much that, like that. It's a wound. It's a wound. Okay. It's a really deep wound. We are going and we are moving through a wound as a collective, right? We're not really being seen and heard. Okay. And when we don't feel seen and heard, and I'm talking about us fully as a collective, there is a wounding, right? The I'm not good enough, right? And so this is the wound that needs to be healed is your worthiness, like we talked about with the Temperance card. Bringing your worthiness up, ramping that worthiness level up doesn't just help you, it helps your family, it helps your friends, it helps the community. It starts to tap and fill up the collective's worthiness. So that's why it's so important to do your work, because you are a part of the collective. You are, responsible for a chunk of that collective. And if you can start to fill up your worthiness factor, then you are starting to raise that vibration. And when we reach a certain point, it's kind of like we cascade into a whole new genre of being. When we all move into a place of knowing your worthiness, we're not going to have things, we're not going to have these big ups and downs as societies. We're not going to, have too many things that are going to rock us, because if you know that you're worthy, then you know that the other person is worthy. You don't go looking for fights. You don't go looking for drama. You don't go reacting from your trauma. You just stand up for yourself, and you know that you are meant to walk this earth, and then you see it in the other people, and then you can allow everyone to be themselves. So this is a calling right now. This is what we got to heal. We have to heal our own self-worth, and we're going to start on an individual basis. The only thing that you can do is do this for yourself, and you can be the example for your partner. You can be the example for your family, but you're not there to convince anyone. And that's the other thing too, is I'm not here to convince you need to do this. I'm just here saying, these are options for you. This will make your life a lot easier. And then in my own personal life, I am the walking example. I am shifting myself. I am doing my work. And it's seen by my friends. It's seen by my colleagues. It's seen by my peers. It's seen by my clients. And I'm able to sit there and be authentic and reflect them an example of somebody that's doing their work. And so then their soul is like, she did it, I can do it too, right? And that's what we're meant to do. You don't have to go out there and change the whole world. You just have to change yourself so you can start reflecting it to other people. Now, the universal energy that's around you right now, and kind of is what is calling upon you, is the Strength card. Okay, and I can see this in two different aspects here. So strength, obviously, to be strong, to stand in your power, is going to allow you to live a more authentic life. The more powerful you get, not from an egoic place, but from your soul, if you can hold your strength and know who you are, then you become unshakable. Then you are so strong. Then you move from being the sheep to the lion, because now no one can tell you who you are. You just know who you are. You're not looking for outside sources to validate who you are, or to show you, you only have worth if you do this or that. It's like, no, you know who you are. Now you know your worth. No one can take that away from you. So the universe is saying, when we know who we are and we can't allow anyone else to tell us or to influence us, then we are truly free. then we are no longer we can't be bought. We cannot be influenced. We cannot be persuaded to do things or to act in a certain way or to rat out our neighbors or to, feed them to the wolves. Like you don't do those things when you know you're worthy and you are standing in your strength. You're powerful, right? You're really, really powerful. And it's exciting when I see people moving towards this energy and people are starting to stand in their power, because it's like a light goes off on them, and I can literally feel the energy like vibrating off of people when they come into their power and when they really are standing in their strength. They're unshakable. And I don't actually know a lot of people in this energy yet. I know some people on the cusp, and I know a few that really truly are, but I know as a collective, that's where we're going, right? And so, yeah, I only know a small handful, but I know that there's this other wave coming, and I know it's going to be literally every week, there's going to be more and more people that are like, whew, this feels good to stand in my power. I'm here, and I know what I'm doing, and I know I have a mission. I know I have a purpose. And so I'm seeing this more and more. People are starting to really light up, and I can feel it. I can feel it in the collective. There's this energetic pulse that's starting to happen where people are like, I will not be pushed around. I will not be told what to do, because I know who I am, and I have rights and I have freedoms, and I'm not willing to sacrifice them for the greater good of your narrative, right? It's not the greater good of humanity. It's the greater good of this agenda and this narrative. So when we see that, and I see people starting to light up and stand in their power, it's a really good indication to me that I know big shifts are coming. And I felt it. I felt it last week when I went to the rally. When I saw how many people had shown up, I was like, this is a thing. This is a thing. This is a shift. And I could feel it in my heart. And I told Katarina, I was like, next time I'm going to wear sunglasses, because all I wanted to do was cry. All I did was see people and supporting people of like-mindedness with the unity and allowing space for anyone to be there. It was so powerful. And I see that. I see us having that shift. I see us moving in that direction, and it's starting to snowball, and it's going to happen quite quickly. Okay. If you're in that higher vibration, and if you're going to things like this, you're going to start seeing a whole new community rise up. And it's really exciting because it's a whole new energy with no old narratives tied to it, with no old limiting beliefs. It's like, you don't have to bring any of your past with you. You can come who you are in your high vibration, in your compassion and your love, and you can just be you, right? You can be you, and you don't have to play into any narratives. You don't have to act a certain way or think a certain way. You just have to be open to accepting and not be judgmental, right? Very powerful. Now, our highest hope right now as the collective is the sun. Okay? So I get it. The sun is the happiest card in the deck. So I can see this for a couple ways. So a lot of us are still wanting to hold on to old paradigms. So a lot of us in the lower vibrations, I can see this, is that people just actually want things just to be normal. They feel like that will bring them joy. If I can just get back to my normal, if I can just live my life as I used to live my life, then I can be happy. But the thing is, if we were just to literally rewind and just start playing this old story over again in just maybe a new little form, we wouldn't be happy. Our souls have now gravitated to a higher frequency that we actually cannot resonate with that old energy. So if everything went back and it was just, hunky-dory as it used to be, we actually would still really feel unsatisfied at the soul level, right? We might feel happy for a little bit, but it would wear thin. It would fall off of us because it's an illusion. It's not made at a frequency that's resonating with where we're going. We're all getting upgrades right now. This whole past week, I have felt so many ascension symptoms in so many good ways, and I just see things clearer and crisper, and I just can tell that there's even Gaia is going through a shift right now, and I feel it. It's like she's cooled down. I kind of feel like And I was thinking about this today, those fires and that intense heat, that like 55-degree heat that we were experiencing, where it was like hotter than it was in like the desert here in BC. I see it as like almost like the earth was going through a fever. It had a fever. I had to burn off some stuff. There was some really shitty energy going on. There was some, really intense energy that just had to be burnt off. Like it just had to go. There had to be this release, right? And that's what our bodies naturally do, right? When we're fighting an infection, we go into a fever. That's how our immune systems work. So why wouldn't Gaia do that? Why wouldn't that be exactly what happens as you fire it up and you release that and you kill off all the stuff that you no longer need? So I had that realization today, and it's very interesting, the sun, because we're on the sun card. I just had that, like, it's happening for a reason, and it's because I literally could feel the shift in these past few days of the planet's going into ascension, our bodies are going into ascension. And so there is this excitement that I feel, and this knowing that I feel that things are going to get really good, but there's going to be this period of it's not going to look so good. And you just have to hold that knowing. You have to find that strength within and know that you have to go through the fever before you get over it, before you can move into that new phase, right? A lot of us, when we're going through ascension, actually will have flu-like symptoms because our body needs to burn up the old energy. It needs to release things. It needs to upgrade. And fire is so transformational, which is very powerful because our highest outcome here is the King of Wands, okay? So the King of Wands is someone who stands in their power, someone who knows who they are. It shows me that there is a huge graduation in a lot of the collective. And for me, I feel like I'm talking to the light workers. I'm talking to the ones that are starting to really wake up, starting to really know who they are, and so this is powerful. There's a huge chunk of the collective that is about to like really ascend, really go into a place of ascension, really start to light themselves up. And there's going to be a huge shift. And you're going to start seeing it in certain individuals that they walk with this lightness, right? And you're going to gravitate to those individuals. And I'm going through it, and I can't tell you how many people just naturally come to me now. And I never had that. I never had that growing up. And I never was that, even in my 20s. I was fun, but I was, very much in my traumas and my dramas. And I didn't particularly like people. And I didn't really have people coming to ask advice from me because my whole life was kind of like, no, who wants to take advice from me? I didn't have my life together. I didn't have my shit together. So I've never really had that, and I feel that now. And I feel like when you guys start doing your work, people are going to start gravitating towards you. And it's going to be your job as a light worker to hold space for everyone and to not hold judgment and to not say, oh, because you did this, I can't be your friend, or because you do this or you believe in this, I can't be your friend. It's like, how are we ever going to come together if you have to always tick off these boxes? And most of us don't tick off the boxes. So how are you ever going to come together if we have all of these high expectations, which are putting limitations on how we're meant to, actually be? So we have to release that. This is where we're moving as a collective, is into a place of non-duality, no judgment. And so until you can do that, until you start to work through that, you are just, it's your, I don't want to say it's your job, but it is our mission as light workers to do that. So it's time to get on board with that. And whenever you find yourself holding judgment for someone, catch yourself and release it, because you don't want someone to hold judgment for you. Put yourself in their shoes, right? That's how you can get out of the duality, is by putting yourself in their shoes, putting yourself in someone else's perspective. Why are they doing what they're doing? Is it because, they have trauma, or they have, X, Y, and Z happening to them? You need to put yourself in their shoes, and you have to realize they're doing the things that they're doing because that's where they're at. That's the reality they've created for themselves. So see that, allow it to be, and hold a space of love and compassion for them. and they will do the same for you. Hopefully, maybe not right away, but at least you're setting the example. And maybe you're setting the example and maybe they never do, but maybe you're setting the example and your partner sees it. Then your partner starts to do it. Then your family sees it. Then your family starts to do it. It's how we light shit up. You have to do the work and you have to be the example. That's the only way we get through this. And I know we get through this, but I would personally like to do this a little quicker. So if we can start doing this and making this a practice and allowing this to really be the way that we live our lives moving forward, then it's going to happen much quicker. Okay? So I'm going to pull out a Kuan Yin transmission, and then I'm going to say goodbye to you, lovelies. It's 7:30. Okay. Trust your path. I set you upon your life path again and again until you realize the passion within your heart is my passion for you too. Trust in your path. Trust in what you love. Okay? And I feel this. This is like, I've been quoting this a lot. It's like, be the change you want to see in the world. Right? It starts with you. If you want things to be more peaceful, then you need to start being more peaceful. If you want things to shift and you want to live a life of more joy, then embody joy. It starts with you. It doesn't come from your outer world. It starts with you. And that's what we need to do. So trust your path. Okay? And yeah, I'm going to leave you guys there. And remember that you can only perceive that which you are. So raise your vibes. Have a great night, guys.